Hello everyone, my name is Angel, and in today's video, we will be planning my bullet journal for the month of May. Now before we get started, I'd like to let you all know that I have a lighting issue which I can't really take anywhere obviously, so I can get it fixed, and that will be obvious in the first few clips. I tried keeping it short, but I realized that this is the main thing in this setup because obviously this is the banner page where I declare the beginning of the month of May in my bullet journal, so I had to include every clip that had to do with this particular page. Basically, our theme for this month is Gravity Falls because it's summer and it's also unsettling, so I figured after a bright and cheery lemon theme last month, let's move on to earth tones for this month. As you can tell, the cover page says May in the font of the show, and I have the mystery shack at the bottom. I tried using colored pencils to redeem me from my January plan with me, but I don't know if I'm doing it right this time around. Because the theme has to do with cartoon, this obviously takes a lot of planning and sketching, so we will be seeing a lot from my trusty rOtring Tikky Mechanical Pencil and my gray Faber Castell Kneadable eraser. I don't know if you'll notice, but there are sketches on the pages beforehand, and that is because I wanted to feel the page when I place things on it before committing, so the sketches I'm making in this plan with me is just finalizing the drafts before inking. All of the sketches in this setup obviously has reference photos, and I will be linking the Pinterest board which has said photos in the description box below. To be honest, I kind of underestimated this setup because I filmed this on the day I was supposed to get this video out, but girl, I only accomplished this one-page spread on the first day I filmed the video. Not only did I feel over it after 2 hours of sketching under an ugly yellow light, my camera also was. So about the light, I have a ring light which my camera lens goes through whenever I film one of these desk videos, and it has 3 color settings. This yellow light, a white light which is the one I use, and a combination of both which I use when I film my face. Also, it was the setting I used for my 2020 setup, and I realized that it was darker than I thought it would come out on video. Back to the video. On the first sketch I colored in, I realized what I was doing wrong. While I do have a bunch of colored pencils to choose from, I tend to go with a light hand when coloring, also same for when I do watercolor. By the way, I'm using regular Faber Castell colored pencils aside from my regular supplies, but you can check out the list of exact supplies I use in the description box below. Gravity Falls is one of those shows that even older teens and college-age people can still enjoy because it's not corny and it doesn't talk down on kids. So yes, let's just talk about my feelings as I'm going through with this setup. I've been trying to rewatch the show with my brother and still pay attention to each episode. That's probably because I generally like good mystery stories. I'm also rewatching the first season of House of Anubis, but yes, I still like the show to this day. Don't worry about looking at an ugly yellow video for the remaining pages because I switched to a white desk lamp, which is not the best but way better than yellow light. I also don't know why I keep saying yellow light when it is clearly orange. I also forgot how enjoyable these videos are to make because I get to sketch out the pages in which I plan my next week, and I also get to listen to music, which I used to do a lot in high school but it faded out eventually. For this setup, I was listening to songs from Victorious, then I switched to Big Time Rush, and then back to my old favorites. If you are curious, I will be linking the playlist I listened to when I was doing most of the filming, which was on the second day, I think. So aside from the various shades of brown, I also used this indigo color because that's what's on the photo I looked at. It also has pine trees that are purples, pinks, and greens, so that's what I did for the background. But I ran over it with Kneadable eraser to lighten it a bit because I did not like how it looked. Okay, so after talking about our feelings for 4 minutes, let's start doing the quote page. Starting off with a little question mark wind vane at the corner there, I used brown as the main color of the page. I placed a border to fill in the space a bit, and then I went on to planning the spacing of the words. The quote I chose was by the creator of the show, and it says, "Stay curious, stay weird, stay kind, and don't let anyone ever tell you you are not smart or brave or worthy enough." Which I initially did in black brush pen, but I decided to redo it because I hated how it looked rushed. Basically, in the entire setup, you will see me redoing some of the concepts and even entire pages because they seem to lack effort. So after doing the wind vane and border again, I redid the words, and by this time, I wrote the quote in printed letters instead of cursive. I also decided to color the main words in greens and browns, which are from the Tombow landscape set. Just a heads up, the next spread was filmed with a desk lamp, so you might want to prepare your eyes for that. Starting off with the spread with the word May in the same style as in the cover page, I put it on the top left corner and I started planning the boxes of my calendar. Sticking to the same calendar style, I made it fit the theme by making it seem like it is on a torn piece of craft paper, but it kinda looks like mud. We'll see once I color it in. Going back to the word May, you'll see the actual colors I used. So I traced out the letters with a 0.1 fine liner, and then somehow I thought I should leave a space between the letter itself and the shadow. So for the bottom shadows, I used brown instead of orange just to stick to a color palette. Using the lightest green from the palette, I filled in the letters, then I went back to decorate the letters with the green gray. This makes such a difference because looking closely at the stylized title, you can see the skyline of Gravity Falls on the letters, which is very beautiful. Anyway, since I start my week on a Sunday, except for my weeklies, I have an outlier at the bottom, but it's okay because it still fits the page. I know it looks plain, but I'll probably decorate it later. You'll know when you see the final flip through. I used the same brown to write down the dates in each box, and then I used a brush pen to write down the days of the week. This month, I decided to do something different with my mood and habit tracker, and by different, I mean spreading them out onto 2 pages. Placing my habit tracker at the top, I just did 6 simple calendar layouts to track 6 habits this month. I placed the title in the ribbon thing, which is a first, so not bad I guess, but I colored in with 2 different shades of brown and a quick stroke of brush pen to write down the title of the spread. Now the mood tracker is a bit much. I have these curved lines which are clotheslines for Mabel's many sweaters. My plan for this month's mood tracker is coloring in each sweater depending on my mood for the day. I drew a total of 32 sweaters of varying effort because I didn't have enough will to make every single one of them perfect. I placed decorations on each sweater, and if you don't see them in this setup, you will definitely see it in the final flip through. Going back to the habit tracker, I outlined each calendar with the main colors, which are also the ones I decided to use for each mood. Next is the sleep tracker, which I intend to keep as long as I have this flexible schedule. Puts emphasis on flexible. I keep my sleep tracker simple because I tried doing a decorative one and it didn't give me much freedom. I will insert a photo of said tracker here, and this is from March 2019. Next to the sleep tracker is a new one, which is the entertainment spread, and basically I will list down the movies or series or books I consume for the month. I only recently started getting into the books I purchased for the Big Bad Wolf book fair, and because I started with the best of Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express, and Then There Were None, it was a great experience. I missed the brain dump last month, so I decided to bring it back this month with 2 pages. I did 2 characters on opposite corners, with the top being Bill Cipher because he floats, and at the bottom I did a gnome throwing out the rainbow, which was actually challenging to draw. I used a mix of super tips and colored pencils to color in these characters, so because I felt like the rainbow had to stand out, I used vivid super tips to color those in. I finished it off by writing the title in a box and then drawing a border around the edge. Now let's do the first weekly spread. I decided to keep it on 1 page because I thought I won't need lots of space, but I was looking through my emails yesterday and I have a lot of requirements to work on, starting with a TikTok dance for my art up class. I don't even TikTok. Anyway, back to the spread, I began by drawing rough sketches of each character floating at different heights and then topping it off with a little triangular guy named Belle. I realized that this was a lot of work, but I made it easier for myself by not giving them too much detail because they are little and their colors will give out their identity anyway to anyone who has seen the show. I outlined each character with the 0.1 fine liner again, and then I colored Bill in the markers to give up the impression that he must stand out from everyone else. This was the first time I used a colorless blender, and I admit I don't know how to use it, but I thought I could help give up the look as if Bill was glowing. For the rest of the characters, I did them in colored pencil to make them seem weaker and less prominent, but to distinguish each of them, I used color blocks rather than attempting to do some shading and stuff like that. I'm sorry if it annoys you that the page keeps bouncing because I forgot to clip it down. I added some bubbles that floated with them to fill in the spaces, and then with the marker of the same blue as the fire on Bill's evil little hands, I did strokes of blue that made it seem like he was lifting them up from the circular thing at the bottom, which you can't see right now, but it's there. I finished off the drawing with the blender doing the glow effect, and finally moving on to the planning space itself. I have 7 spaces representing the days of the week, and after realizing that black doesn't really show up on blue, I just washed everything out in black and used a white gel pen to write down the days and dates of the week. I did a few more tweaks behind camera, and you can see those in the final flip through. Alright everyone, that will be it for this month's plan with me, and I hope you liked how I used Gravity Falls as my theme for the month, and if you did, don't forget to click the thumbs up button and also subscribe to see more bullet journal videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!